Shalom family, Shalom. This is BOW Bay Area, and this is me, Amana Wall. And this is my brother Amatazai here. You can introduce yourself, King.
Shalom, shalom.
Khan. So, family, today we're gonna do a little smooth lesson. We're gonna be going over the whole book of Lamentations, right? It's gonna be a little read along. Sometimes, this is good just to refreshing your memory because this is like one of the books that people kind of look over. This is a book that Jeremiah wrote, right? But people usually just go to Jeremiah to reference Jeremiah, but they don't go to the book of Lamentations. So I was like, hey, it's 5 chapters. It's not too long, and I kind of want to just go over it with the family. But first, I wanted to bring out something before, kind of like going over the reading. I just want to go over the definition of lamentation. I have it here. It says, the passionate expression of grief and sorrow. So, with that being said, this is not going to be a book of laughter and hugs and kisses, right? This is going to be a whole book of mourning, right? And the reason why this is important is because, you know, as a nation, we got to understand, like, yeah, yes, we escaped Egypt. Yes, Moses split the Red Sea. Yes, we have all these feast days killing our oppressors, but sometimes we got to understand what we went through before all that happened, right? So this is during the time of Babylon when the Babylonians took over. So that I'm just trying to give y'all the context of what's going on and why Jeremiah wrote what he wrote in this book, right? Um so yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Matazaki, you get Lamentations 1 and 1 for me, Baba Kasha.
God, this is the book of Lamentations from the top. How doth the city sit solitary that was full of people? How is she become as a widow, she that was great among the nations, and princess among the provinces? How is she become tributary?
So right here, Jeremiah, he's kind of like asking, or he's telling a rhetorical statement. He's like, how could this happen, right? How could this happen to our people? We were so good before, but now we're in a solitary state of mind, meaning like solitary. What I think of solitary, I think of like the Fortress of Solitude, thinking about Superman, it's kind of just out the way. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's how I kind of like see it. Like we were in a solitary state at this time, right? We were kind of just tucked down. We were not up here, we were down here, etc. Right? Let's keep going. Slacky. Let's keep going though, King. Read down to verse 4, Bob Kasha.
Verse 2. She weepeth sore in the night, and her tears on her cheeks. Among all her lovers, she hath none to comfort her. All
Right.
her friends have dealt treacherously with her. They are become her enemies. Judah is gone into captivity because of affliction.
Right. So Judah, right here, it literally said right here, the southern kingdom, got into captivity because of the affliction. Right. Keep reading, King. We gotta understand that.
And because of great servitude, she dwelleth among the heathen. She findeth no rest. All her persecutors overtook her between the straits. The ways of Zion do mourn because none come to solemn feast. All her gates are desolate. Her priests sigh. Her virgins are afflicted, and she is in bitterness.
Right. So he's just talking about the captivity that's going on. Right. He's kind of just telling what's going on in Jerusalem at this point. Right. I wanted to get a precept. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 10 and 19 because it said right here, the ways of Zion do mourn because none come to the solemn feast. All her gates are desolate, right? Her priests sigh, her virgins are afflicted, and she is in bitterness. She being Israel, right? But go to Ecclesiastes 10 and 19, Baba Kashar. Let's get that.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 10 and verse 19. A
Go.
feast is made for laughter, and wine maketh merry, but money answereth all things.
So a feast is made for laughter. During this time, we wasn't laughing about the solemn feast days, right? Because we couldn't. We were going through mourning. We were just going through servitude. There was nothing to be happy about. Jeremiah was just pretty much like venting to us saying, man, like nothing's good. Nothing is good whatsoever. Right. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to put those two together. Let's read down to verse 6.
Her adversaries are the chief, her enemies prosper. For the Lord hath afflicted her for the multitude of her transgressions. Her
Right.
children are gone into captivity before the enemy. Keep going.
Come.
And from the daughter of Zion, all her beauty is departed. Her princes are become like harts that find no pasture, and they are gone without strength before the pursuer.
So we have been trodden down, right? We just have been trodden down because of our transgressions, right? And what were we doing? We were, following the ways of the heathen. I think in I don't have I think it's in Ezekiel 37. Since I don't know the exact verse, I don't want to go into it. But in Ezekiel 37, I believe it's talking about how the reason why we got into this captivity is because we were following, I think, Chaldea customs from the Chaldees, right? Which are, of course, Hamites, which Babylon is, right? So that's the reason why we were following the transgressions, or we were doing transgressions, and those transgressions were pretty much idolatry per se. So yeah, that's the reason why we got trodden down. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 real quick, all right? Right? Because it said in verse 6, and from the daughter of Zion, all her beauty is departed. Her princes are become like harts that find no pasture, and they are gone without strength before the pursuer. So let's get Deuteronomy 28 and verse 43 and 44, Baba Kasha.
You said 28 in verse.
43 came and 44.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 43. The stranger that is within thee, no, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
Right. So that's what happened. We just became the tail and they were the head, right? And because, like I said, they trying us down. So I kind of just want to put those two together. This is a curse because what does it say earlier in the chapter of Deuteronomy 28? It says if pretty much if we break these commandments, then these curses will fall upon us, right? So that's pretty much just what happened, right? Let's go. Matter of fact, read down. Let's go back to Lamentations, right? And matter of fact, just finish the rest of the chapter, King.
Con.
At verse 7.
Verse 7. Jerusalem remembered in the days of her affliction, and of her miseries all her pleasant things that she had in the days of old, when her people fell into the hand of the enemy, and none did help her. The adversary saw her and did mock her Sabbaths. Jerusalem had grievously sinned, therefore she is removed. All that honored her despise her, because they have seen her nakedness.
Right.
Yeah, she sigheth and turneth backward. Her filthiness is in her skirts. She remembered not her last end. Therefore she came down wonderfully. She had no comforter. O Yahweh, behold my affliction, for the enemy hath magnified himself. The adversaries the adversary hath spread out his hand upon all her pleasant things, for she hath seen that the heathen entered into her sanctuary, whom thou didst command that they should not enter into thy congregation.
Right.
All her people sigh, they seek bread. They have given their pleasant things for meat to relieve the soul. See, O Yahweh, and consider, for I am become vile. It is nothing to you, all ye that pass by. Behold and see, if there be any sorrow like unto my sorrow, which is done unto me, wherewith Yahweh afflicted me in the day of his fierce anger. From above hath he sent fire into my bones, and it prevaileth against them. He hath spread a net for my feet. He hath turned me back. He hath made me desolate and faint all the day. The yoke of my transgressions is bound by his hand. They are wreathed and come up upon my neck. He hath made my strength to fall. The Lord hath delivered me into their hands, from whom I am not able to rise up. The Lord hath trodden under foot all my mighty men in the midst in the midst of me. He hath called an assembly against me to crush my young men. The Lord hath trodden the virgin, the daughter of Judah, as in a winepress. For these things I weep mine eye. Mine eye runneth down with water, because the comforter that should relieve my soul is far from me. My children are desolate because the enemy prevailed. Zion spreadeth forth her hands, and there is none to comfort her. Yahweh hath commanded concerning Jacob that his adversaries should be round about him. Jerusalem is as a menstruous woman among them. Yahweh is righteous, for I have rebelled against his commandment. Hear, I pray you, all people, and behold my sorrow. My virgins and my young men are gone into captivity. I called for my lovers, but they deceived me. Priests and mine elders gave up the ghost in the city, while they sought their meat to relieve their souls. Behold, O Yahweh, for I am in distress. My bowels are troubled, mine heart is turned within me, for I have grievously rebelled abroad. The sword bereaveth, at there is as death. No, at home there is as death. They have heard that I sighed. There is none to comfort me. All mine enemies have heard of my trouble. They are glad that thou hast done it. Thou wilt bring the day that thou hast called, and they shall be like unto me. Let all their wickedness come before thee, and do unto them as thou hast done unto me. For all my transgressions, for my sighs are many, and my heart is faint.
Right. So essentially, just to sum it up, Jeremiah is pleading his case, right? And he's just asking for the comforter to come back again. Essentially, Yahweh, right? And he's just pleading his case. But in the last verse, right, he said, let all their wickedness come before thee, and do unto them as thou hast done unto me, for all my transgressions, for my sighs are many, and my heart is faint. Jeremiah was like, hey man, I know you're judging us by putting us in captivity, but it's only right if they get the same thing, right? I wanted to get Deuteronomy 30 and verse 7. If you can, that'd be a shot. Bring it on when you got it.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, and verse 7. And Yahweh thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee.
So the Most High is going to put all the curses unto the enemies of Israel, right? And at this time, like we said, even though the Most High is using them as judgment, they're going to get judgment back because they're not what should we call it? They're not what's the right word? I'm not what's the opposite of guilty?
Innocent.
Innocent. They're not innocent, right? They're not innocent of anything, right? So I just wanted to bring that out because even though, like I said, we're going to get our get back at the end of the day. And we know that we can read the book of Obadiah. We're going to get our get back, right? So let's go to chapter 2. And you can stop at verse 3.
How hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with the cloud in his anger, and cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel, and remembered not his footstool in the day of his anger. The Lord hath swallowed up all the habitations of Jacob, and hath not pitied. He hath thrown down in his wrath the strongholds of the daughter of Judah. He hath brought them down to the ground. He
Mhm.
hath polluted the kingdom and the princes thereof. He hath cut off his fierce anger. He hath cut off in his fierce anger all the horn of Israel. He hath drawn back his right hand from before the enemy, and he burned against Jacob like a flaming fire, which devoureth round about.
Right. So he's letting the heathens do what they got to do, right? For our judgment because of our transgressions, right? Let's go to Exodus 15, okay? And let's go to Exodus 15 and verse 6 because right here we just read it. It has said right here. Let me get it. My bad. My bad. Where? Why can't I find it? Go to verse 6, King. But I want to bring this out real quick. Yeah, I brought. Oh yeah, right here. It said he have cut off in his fierce anger all the horn of Israel. He had drawn back his right hand from before the enemy. Right. What does that mean? Right. And that's what we're going to get in Exodus 15 and verse 6. So let's get that real quick, King.
This is the book of Exodus, Exodus chapter 15 and verse 6. Thy right hand, O Yahweh, is become glorious in power. Thy right hand, O Yahweh, hath dashed in pieces the enemy.
Right. So essentially, he drew back his right hand from the enemy right here in Lamentation. He said, guess what? I'm gonna let them do their thing, right? Because he went like this. He's like, nah, I'm gonna just let them pass through y'all, and y'all gonna have to suffer, right? Because of your transgressions. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because what does the right hand symbolize? It said glory, it said power, the acts, right? Your works. So he was like, you know what? I'm gonna draw my works back. I'm gonna draw my power back and let them do their thing. Man, that's cold, man. Even though we're even though we're God's children, the Most High was like, yeah, nah, I ain't having that. You know, and that's called true discipline, family. You know what I'm saying? That's called true discipline. Just want to get that clear, right? Let's go back to Lamentations. Read a verse 5, King.
Verse 5.
No, 4 and 5, 4 and 5.
He hath bent his bow like an enemy. He stood with his right hand as an adversary, and slew all that were pleasant to the eye in the tabernacle of the daughter of Zion. He poured out his fury like fire. The Lord was an enemy. He hath swallowed up Israel. He hath swallowed up all her palaces. He hath destroyed his strongholds, and hath increased in the daughter of Judah mourning and lamentation.
Right. So the Most High became the enemy of Judah, right? And it said right here in the latter part of verse 5, and have increased in the daughter of Judah mourning and lamentation. So right here, it shows you what lamentation is really meaning. It means mourning, right? You're mourning. That's what Jeremiah was going through, and that's what the virgins and the young children were going through, and the elders as well. So at this point in time, man, we're just going through it, right? Or the tribe, the southern kingdom, anyways. Um, so yes, I just wanted to point that out, right? Because hey, what does it say in the scriptures? It said in the book of John, where is it at? Like where it says, if you are a friend of the world, you are enemy of God. Let's get that. Let's get that. Let me look it up real quick. You know what that's at, Matazai?
1 second.
Okay, I'll look it up. Friend of the world, friend of this world. Let me get that real quick. That's a good precept. Um, Slovakia. You know which one I'm talking about, right? It's in the book of John.
No, it's James 4 and 4.
James 4 and 4, Slovakia, man. Yeah, you got that then. Bring it out when you got it, again.
Uh, this is the book of James, chapter 4 and verse 4. Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of God.
Man, we was being friends with those Chaldeans, man. That's why we became the enemy of God. We were following their customs, family. So that's why we got what we deserved at the end of the day, right? We got mourning and lamentation. So let's read down, King. Read down to verse 8. So start at verse 6.
And he hath violently taken away his tabernacle as if it were of a garden. He hath destroyed his places of the assembly. Yahweh hath caused the solemn feast and Sabbath to be forgotten in Zion, and hath despised in the indignation of his anger the king and the priest. Yahweh hath cast off his altar. He hath abhorred his sanctuary. He hath given up into the hand of the enemy the walls of her palaces. They
Mm-hmm.
have made a noise in the house of Yahweh as in the day of a solemn feast. Yahweh hath proposed to destroy the wall of the daughter of Zion. He hath stretched out a line. He hath not withdrawn his hand from destroying. Therefore he made the rampart and the wall to lament. They languish together.
Right here. This is crazy. When it said the Lord had cast off his altar, he have abhorred his sanctuary, he have given up into the hand of the enemy the walls of her palaces. They have made a noise in the house of the Lord as in the day of a solemn feast. That's they made it so loud of mourning and crying that it kind of sounded like a feast day, a feast of celebration, but it was the complete opposite. That's how bad it was, family. That's how bad it was in the land of Judah at this time, right? And we know this is this is ancient Babylon captivity, but this is where we're living in modern day Babylon, great Babylon now. So it's just crazy to see how things just repeat itself, repeat itself, repeat itself, right? And I can go to the other captivities as well, our Grecian captivity, etc., right? And talk about how bad it was too, right? Because it's crazy how bad that we had it, what I'm saying, in the Americas and also back in the day when we were in Israel. But I wanted to harp in kind of on this real quick. I commented the Lord didn't show Israel no mercy, and because this is just pure judgment of the Most High, right? Pure judgment. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 3 and start from the top, because it said the Lord had pursued to destroy the wall of the daughter of Zion, right? But let's get that. Let's get that in Ecclesiastes 3. Why? Why would the Most High destroy his sanctuary, right? Why? It doesn't make no sense. When you got a king, bring it up.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3 from the top. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. A
Come.
time,
So that's what I wanted to get, right? There's a time to break down and there's a time to build up. There's a time to kill and a time to heal. There's a time to plant and there's a time to be plucked up. We was plucked up in Judah. We was plucked up in Judah, right? And that's the crazy thing, right? Because the Most High, he said, what he said right here? He said, the Lord had cast off his altar. He cast off his altar, right? And he have abhorred his sanctuary. He said, man, I'm going to break this down, man. Because my children ain't doing what's right. My children ain't following my rules. So I'm going to break down what I built up, right? That's how mad he was. That's how angry he was. We don't understand now how the Most High gets angry. We think that Jesus, what I'm saying, it's just all rainbows and butterflies, man. God will destroy you if you keep sinning, family. That we see this clearly in the book of Lamentations. We see this clearly, right? Pretty much what Jeremiah was doing, he was writing a diary of what was going on. Even though he was a mighty prophet, you know what I'm saying? We all like, I mean, I would too. I'd be like, hey God, like just jotting down my thoughts and etc. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what Jeremiah was doing because he was like, man, I don't know how else to cope. I gotta just write things down, or else I'm gonna go insane, right? So, like I said, there's a time to be plucked, and a time to plant. And we was just plucked right here. The king of Judah was plucked up, right? Let's go back to Lamentations 2. Start at verse 9, but stop at verse 12, Baba Kashah.
Verse 9. Her gates are sunk into the ground. He hath destroyed and broken her bars. Her king and her princes are among the Gentiles. The law is no more. Her prophets also find no vision from Yahweh. The elders of the daughter of Zion sit upon the ground and keep silence. They have cast up dust upon their heads.
Okay.
They have girded themselves with sackcloth. The virgins of Jerusalem hang down their heads to the ground. Mine eyes do fail with tears. My bowels are troubled. My liver is poured upon the earth for the destruction of the daughter of my people, because the children and the sucklings swoon in the streets of the city. They say to their mothers, where is corn and wine? When they swooned as the wounded in the streets of the city, when their soul was poured out into their mother's bosom.
So the children of Israel are just tired at this point. That's what Jeremiah is saying. And the enemy, they didn't regard that whatsoever. What does it say right here? Um, let's say right here. I wanted to read right here. It said right here, my eyes do fail with tears. My bowels are troubled. My liver is poured upon the earth for the destruction of the daughter of my people, because of the children and the suckling swoon in the streets of the city. But the Babylonians didn't care about that. They didn't care about the little kids. They didn't care about what was going on to the innocent. Let me say that innocent kids that didn't do nothing, right? Didn't regard them whatsoever. And I want to get Deuteronomy 28 and verse 50, because that's what the enemy will do to us as a curse, right? That's what Moses brought out. You know what I'm saying? That would happen to us. So let's get Deuteronomy 28 and 50, man, because history repeats itself. So we're just at this time, Judah was experienced this curse in particular. Bring it out when you got it, King.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 50. I'll start at 49. Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young.
Come right here, right? So it said, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. The elders were tired. The young kids, they were asking the mothers, where is corn and wine? And they swooned as the wounded in the streets of the city, when their soul was poured out into their mother's bosom. Their children were hungry. They they didn't know what was going on really. They did, but they couldn't do nothing about it. So this nation of fierce countenance came and didn't show no favor whatsoever. Right. Let's go back to the book of Lamentations though. And you could read all the way down, King. So start at verse 13. Baba Kashar.
Verse 13. What thing shall I take to witness for thee? What thing shall I liken to thee, O daughter of Jerusalem? Jerusalem? What shall I equal to thee, that I may comfort thee, O virgin daughter of Zion? For thy breach is great like the sea. Who can heal thee? Thy prophets have seen vain and foolish things for thee, and they have not discovered thine iniquity to turn away thy captivity, but have seen for thee false burdens and causes of banishment. All that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? All thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash the teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up certainly. This is the day that we looked for. We have found, we have seen it.
Okay, right here. I want to kind of just harp on that a little bit, right? The heathens were mocking us, all right? And this is not the first time they were mocking us during captivity. They mocked us in the Americas too. They said, "Man, look at this Indian man. Like, oh, guess what? I'm gonna just get this Indian baby and feed it to the alligators. Oh, I'm gonna get this black baby and just beat it to pieces." Mocking us. They were like, "Hey," they told the Native Americans, "Bro, these Native Americans had so much gold in Peru, but guess what? We finna take everything and mock them because they couldn't defend themselves." That's the curses, man. They're mocking at us because they were like, "I thought these Incas were so powerful and almighty, but we just destroyed them." Right? History repeats itself, family. You know what I'm saying? That's why we got to get right with the Most High God, because if we mess up, we finna get mocked, right? We're gonna get mocked. It's like when you mess up real bad, right? It's like when you mess up real bad and you're like, supposed to be good at what you messed up at. Like, imagine that. Imagine the embarrassment. That's embarrassing. Not only is it sad, it's just embarrassing, right? We were an embarrassment to the nations. That's why they were getting at us like how they were. You know what I'm saying? And it's just crazy. It's crazy. But also too, we finna do the same thing when we get our get back too. I'm sure we will. But it's just crazy to see how our people don't understand from their past mistakes, right? They don't. They don't whatsoever. But I kind of just wanted to harken on that because we get mocked all the time, but we can't do nothing. And this is what was happening in the land of Judah at this time. Um, go back to the book of Lamentations, Salakia, and
Verse
um, start where it says, the Lord have done that which had devised.
yeah, verse 17.
Come.
Yahweh hath done that which he had devised. He hath fulfilled his word that he had commanded in the days of old. He hath thrown down and have not pitied, and he hath caused thine enemy to rejoice over thee. He hath set up the horn of thine adversaries. Their heart cried unto Yahweh, O wall of the daughter of Zion. Let tears run down like a river day and night. Give thyself no rest. Let not the apple of thine eye cease. Arise, cry out in the night, in the beginning of the watches. Pour out thine heart like a water before the face of Yahweh. Lift up thine hands toward him for the life of thy young children that
Right,
faint for hunger in the top of every street. Behold, O Yahweh, and consider to whom thou hast done this. Shall the woman eat their fruit, and children of a span long? Shall the priest No, and the children of a span long? Shall the priest and the prophet be slain in the sanctuary of Yahweh? The young and the old lie on the ground in the streets. My virgins and my young men are fallen by the sword. Thou hast slain them in the day of thine anger. Thou hast killed and not pitied. Thou hast called as in a solemn day my terrors round about, so that in the day of Yahweh's anger none escaped nor remained. Those that I have swaddled and brought up have mine enemy consumed.
man. This is what lamentation looks like, family. This is why Jeremiah was writing this, because how else will you cope back in the day? You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, we couldn't just pick up our phones and be like, "Hey guys, can you donate to my GoFundMe? There's a lot of things going on in my life, and we couldn't do that back in the day. We just had to suffer, man, right? And it's just crazy because, like, I'll say this: Christians don't read this book. Christians don't read this book. Because I'm sure if Christians read this book, they would understand how fierce the Most High is. They will understand the judgments that the Most High will do to you if you break His commandments, man. You know, this is serious. This ain't a game, family. It's never been a game. It's life or death, right? And that's what Jeremiah is demonstrating right here. This is what lamentation looks like. Um, but yeah, I just I just had to say what I had to say. Um, it said right here, the Most High is telling him what to do. He said, "Arise, crowd in the night. In the beginning of the watches, pour out thine heart like water before the face of the Lord. Lift up thy hands toward him for the life of thy young children." We can't just look out for ourselves. We got to look out for our family. We got to look out for the people that we love. That's why we got to go to him. You know, Lord willing, if I have a kid, I have a kid later on in life, you know what I'm saying? He's blessed because I'm keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, or I'm trying to at least. I'm trying my best. So that's what we got to do. We're not doing it for ourselves. We're doing it for our next generations to come, right? I don't keep the Sabbath because I want everything better for me and only me. No, I want my kids to be better than me. I want my kids to have a better life than I had. So that's the important thing, family, right? That's the real important thing, right? But let's go to chapter 3, family. Start from just let's go to chapter
This is chapter 3, verse 1.
chapter 3.
Lamentations chapter 3 from the top.
Let's start by verse 13.
I am the man that hath seen affliction by the rod of his wrath. He
Yeah.
hath led me and brought me into darkness, but not into light. Surely against me is he turned. He turned his hand against me all the day. My flesh and my skin hath he made old. He hath broken my bones. He hath builded against me and compassed me with gale and travail. He hath set me in darkness, as they that be dead of old. He hath hedged me about, that I cannot get out. He hath made my chain heavy. Also, when I cry and shout, he shutteth out my prayer. He hath enclosed my ways with hewn stone. He hath made my paths crooked. He was unto me as a bear lying in wait, and as a lion in secret places. He hath turned aside my ways and pulled me in pieces. He hath made me desolate. He hath bent his bow and sent me as a mark for the arrow. He hath caused the arrows of his quiver to enter into my reins.
The Most High did everything but help Judah, man. He did everything but help their situation. That's crazy. He said he had bent his bow and sent me as a mark for an arrow. That's crazy. He really just said, hey yo, nation of Israel, hold on, stand right there. Hold on, let me be quiet. Like that's crazy. That's crazy. Slack your family. I know this is a book of lamentation, but just imagine that. I know it's just wordplay too, but imagine the Most High just being like, "Hold up, family. Hold up. Hold up. Stay still." That's crazy, family. Matza, how you think about that, man? What do you think about that, man?
Nah, it's a terrible thing, man. And if you kind of pay attention to what's going on in Lamentations, right? Jeremiah's literally reading the eulogy for Jerusalem's funeral.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So if you pay attention, like if you ever, we've all been to funerals before, sadly, but that's life. Um,
Right.
you read about the good times, the bad times, and then you read about what happened, the tragedy of what happened. Jeremiah is going deeply into the tragedy of what happened in Jerusalem. You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
he's ultimately reading the eulogy for Jerusalem's funeral about how it was once great, but it got torn down. You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
you kind of got to just get the hints of like how we were so great and we fell so far down. You ever heard that saying, like the bigger they are, the harder they fall?
Right.
Jerusalem was like the greatest city on earth, and it took the biggest fall. You see what I mean? So
Oh,
ultimately it's a terrible thing, but it also shows you the power of the Most High. So
most
we gotta fear the Most High because it's a fearful thing to fall in the hands of the living God. So you know, and I'll leave it at that.
yeah, I like that. This is the eulogy for for Jerusalem, man. That's a good way to put it, right? Because Jeremiah, he's like, yeah, everything that you said, Matazah, that's literally what's happening, right? Let's go to verse 14 and stop at verse 20, Baba Kasha.
Con. I was a derision to all my people, and their song all the day. He hath filled me with bitterness. He hath made me drunken with wormwood. He hath also broken my teeth with gravel stones. He hath covered me with ashes. And thou hast removed my soul far off from peace. I forgot prosperity. And I said, my strength, my hope is perished from Yahweh, remembering mine affliction and my misery, the wormwood and the gall. My soul hath them still in remembrance, and is humbled in me.
Man, so all these things that happened to Jeremiah, he said, and is humbled in me, right? He's like, man, I know we was a strong nation before, but now I know what's going on, man. I understand the struggle with pretty much what he's trying to say, right? He said he had made me drunken with wormwood. I looked up wormwood. It's like a plant. I don't know exactly what it does, but hey, it don't sound good, right? It don't sound good. I don't know. It's a plant though. I had to look it up when I was reading this because I didn't know what wormwood was before. Um, in the gall, yeah, wormwood in the gall, yeah. So pretty much, yeah, he was just saying, yeah, no, this has very much humbled me in every aspect, right? But let's keep reading. Let's keep reading all the way down. Let's just finish the chapter. Matter of fact,
Con. Verse 21. This I recall to my mind. Therefore have I hope. It is of Yahweh's mercies that we are not consumed,
mhm.
because his compassions fail not. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. Yahweh is my portion, saith my soul. Therefore will I hope in him. Yahweh is good unto them that wait on him, to the soul that seeketh him. It is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of Yahweh. It is good for a man that he bear the yoke of his youth. He sitteth alone and keepeth silence, because he hath borne it upon him. He putteth his mouth in the dust, if so be there may be hope. He giveth his cheek to him that smiteth him. He is filled full with reproach. For Yahweh will not cast off forever. But though he cause grief, yet will he have compassion according to the multitude of his mercies. For he doth not afflict willingly, nor grieve the children of men.
Con, that was all the way to verse 32.
No, no. Oh, you want me to finish it? Or you
Yeah,
want me to? Oh,
finish it. Yeah.
okay. To crush under his feet all the prisoners of the earth, to turn aside the right of a man before the face of the Most High, to subvert a man in his cause, the Lord approveth not. Who is he that saith, and it cometh to pass? When the Lord cometh it not, out of the mouth of the Most High proceedeth not evil and good? Wherefore doth the living man complain, a man for the punishment of his sins? Let us search and try our ways, and turn again to Yahweh. Let us lift up our heart with our hands unto God in the heavens.
Salakia. Salakia. Yeah, Salakia. I wanted to hearken. I was looking at different verses in the Bible. Salakia family. That's on me. Um, I kind of wanted to hearken from 21 to 32 real quick, family. Um, because it said right here, Salakia, like I said, Salakia. I wanted to bring out the fact that even though Jeremiah was going through these things, you know, he's still saying that the Most High will have my back at the end of the day, right? I wanted to get Jeremiah 3 real quick, family. Flip to Jeremiah 3 real quick, Baba Kasha. Um, and start at verse, just read verse 8 and then go to verse 14. Baba Kasha.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, and verse 8. And I saw, when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also.
Come. And just go to verse 14, okay?
Verse 14. Turn, O backsliding children, saith Yahweh, for I am married unto you, and I will take you, one of a city and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion.
Right. So like right here, even though or even though Jeremiah was going through the things that he was going through in Jerusalem, he understood, right, that the Most High will have his back at the end of the day, right? Because he also understands that the Most High's mercy is abundant, right? So that's what Salaki fam, like I said, but that's what I wanted to bring up from 21 to 32. But let's go to Psalms 118 and 4 just to prove that point, Baba Kashah. So the book of Psalms 118,
118 in.
4.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 118, and verse 4. Let them now that fear Yahweh say that his mercy endureth forever.
Right here. So Jeremiah understood that, right? That's why he said, hey, I understand you doing this for a reason, but I know that you're gonna have us you're gonna have our back at the end of the day. Um so yeah, let's go back to the book of Lamentations. I wanted to get those two precepts. Um, but if you can, Bobby Kashak, can you just go back to verse 33?
Uh,
Come,
you going to go back up to verse 33?
come, yeah. And read down to verse 39.
He doth not afflict willingly, nor grieve the children of men.
Come, keep reading down to verse 39, okay?
To crush under his feet all the prisoners of the earth, to turn aside the right of a man before the face of the Most High, to subvert a man in his cause, the Lord approveth not. Who is he that saith, and it cometh to pass, when the Lord commandeth it not? Out of the mouth of the Most High proceedeth not evil and good. Wherefore doth the living man complain, a man for the punishment of his sins?
Right here. This is cold, right? This is real cold, family. You know, because pretty much right here, the Most High is saying, I'm in control, right? So it's flawed to ask the Most High why you're making these decisions, right? I love this verse right here. He said, "Out of the mouth of the Most High proceedeth not evil and good." Man, think about that, right? Think about that, family, because like how we've been saying the whole time, the Most High isn't just he's not always friendly. He said he's going to be our enemy if we choose the world over him, right? So that's real important to hearken on, family. He's not going to love you if you keep cheating on him, like how we just read in Jeremiah 3. You know what I'm saying? If we keep cheating on him, if we keep being the adulterous children that we are, he's going to punish us, family. So that's why it's so cold. And he said, wherefore doth a living man complain? A man for the punishment of his sins? He's like, bro, stop complaining over the sins that you've done, right? That's cold, right? But let's keep reading. Start at verse 40 and end at verse 48, Baba Kasha.
God. Let us search and try our ways and turn again to Yahweh. Let us lift up our heart with our hands unto God in the heavens. We have transgressed and have rebelled. Thou hast not pardoned. Thou hast covered with anger and persecuted us. Thou hast slain. Thou hast not pitied. Thou hast covered thyself with a cloud, that our prayer should not pass through. Thou hast made us as the offscouring and refuse in the midst of the people. All our enemies have opened their mouths against us. Fear and a snare is come upon us, desolation and destruction. Mine ye runneth down with rivers of waters, for the destruction of the daughter of my people.
Right. So it's saying right here, Jeremiah is asking the Most High to have Israel turn back to him because, like before, God has let the enemy attack and hurt the people of Israel. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much just what's going on here. It said, all our enemies have opened their mouths against us. Fear and a snare is come upon us, desolation and destruction. My eye runneth down with rivers of water for the destruction of the daughter of people. Man, Jeremiah, like he's still pleading his case, right? And that's what we get throughout the whole book of Lamentations. He's pleading his case, right? So read down to verse 46, 56, Baba Kasha.
God.
Start
Mine eye runneth down with rivers of water, for the destruction of the daughter of my people. Mine eye tricketh down and ceaseth not, without any intermission, till Yahweh look down and behold from heaven. My eye affecteth mine heart because of all the daughters of my city. Mine enemies chase me sore like a bird without cause. They have cut off my life in the dungeon and cast a stone upon me. Waters flowed over mine head. Then I said, I am cut off. That was verse 54.
56.
I called upon my name, O Yahweh, out of the low dungeon. Thou hast heard my voice. Hide not thine ear at my breathing, at my cry.
Right. So we're gonna get 2 points here, family. He said right here, my eye affected mine heart because of all the daughters of the city. What do you think that means, Amatazah? How would you break that down?
Repeat that again.
My eye affected mine heart because of all the daughters of my city.
So basically, everything he's seen troubled him.
Right. It was messing with him in the
Mm,
head. It was
yeah.
messing with him. He was like, man, I've seen too much. You know, a brother that just seen too much and it's just numb. Like
Uh,
they sit down like this and they're just numb to everything. Right. It's like, yeah, like the Most High is not even listening to my prayers. I've seen too much, man. You know,
uh,
that's why Jeremiah is like, don't hide yourself from me, family. But to most Christians, they'd be like, why would God hide himself from us? Like, why? Like, why would he like hide? And why do I have to ask him to not hide? That doesn't make no sense. That's what Christians will say, right? But let's get that real quick in Proverbs 28 and 9. Why the Most High would hide himself from the prayers. Right? Let's get that real quick, family.
you said Proverbs.
28, King, and verse 9. Because Jeremiah is obviously calling out his name, right? Just make that clear.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 28, and verse 9. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayers shall be an abomination.
That's why, family. If we turn our ear against the law, the Most High is not going to hear our prayers, man, because He's going to be like, bro, you just fornicated, man. Oh, you just committed adultery. I'm not going to hear you. You know how? Like that's just common sense, family, right? That's just common sense. He's not going to listen to you if you keep messing up and you're just asking for forgiveness without any repercussion, right? So that's the reason why, fam. I wanted to hark on that real quick. Um, and if you can just finish the rest of the or go down to verse 66, Baba Kasha.
Uh, this is verse 57. Thou drawest near in the day that I called upon thee. Thou saidst, Fear not, O Yahweh. Thou hast pleaded the cause of my soul. Thou hast redeemed my life. O Yahweh, thou hast seen my wrong judge. Thou my cause. Thou hast seen all their vengeance and all their imaginations against me. Thou hast heard their reproach, O Yahweh, and all their imaginations against me. The lips of those that rose up against me and their device against me all the day. Behold, their sitting down and their rising up. I am their music.
Mm,
Render unto me render unto them a recompense, O Yahweh, according to the work of their hands.
mm,
Give them sorrow of heart, thy curse unto them.
mm.
Persecute and destroy them in anger from under the heavens of Yahweh.
And that's what we read in Deuteronomy 30. He said, "Oh Lord, according I am their music, render unto them a recompense. Oh Lord, give them sorrow of heart, thy curse unto them." Right. And we know that this is gonna happen in the kingdom. You know, this is gonna happen later on, but it's not the time yet. That's why we read too. There's a time to there's a season for everything, essentially, right? So yeah, I just wanted to bring that out. He's just repeating himself, right? Um now let's go to chapter 4, right? Let's go to chapter 4 and read down to verse 10, Baba Kasha.
Lamentations chapter 4 from the top. How was the gold become dim? How was the most fine gold changed? The stones of the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street. The precious sons of Zion comparable to fine gold. How are they esteemed as earthen pitchers, the work of the hands of the potter? Even the sea monsters draw out the breast. They give suck to their young ones. The daughter of my people has become cruel, like the ostriches in the wilderness. The tongue of the sucking children cleaveth to the roof of his mouth for thirst. The young children ask bread, and no man breaketh it unto them. They that did feed delicately are desolate in the streets. They that were brought up in scarlet embrace dunghills. For the punishment of the iniquity of the daughter of my people is greater than the punishment of the sin of Sodom, that was overthrown as in a moment, and no hand stayed on her. Her Nazarites were purer than snow. They were whiter than milk. They were more ruddy in body than rubies. Their polishing was of sapphire. Their visage is blacker than coal. They are known in the streets. Their skin cleaveth to their bones. It is withered. It is become like a stick. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the field. The hands of the pitiful woman have sodden their own children. They were their meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people.
Right,
Yahweh hath accomplished his fury.
right there, King. So right there, their meat, they were their meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people. Right, that's crazy, right? But I wanted to hearken. I wanted to show you a visual demonstration of something, right? In this passage, right? Because right here, it's talking about how we were set up on high, and then we just came back down, like how we read previously, right? But it said right here that we were as gold, but then we turned like unto earthen pitchers. I wanted to demonstrate to y'all what that looks like, right? Just to give y'all a visual demonstration. Let me share my screen real quick, family. Let me get this entire screen. Come. Okay. So come. That's pretty much come. I got it. Let's go to see what gold looks like. You can see my screen, right, King?
Con,
Let's look at gold, man. You see this? You see this? We were like this, right, family? We was like this, just like stacks of gold, right? Like, look at this. It's pretty, right?
con,
You say this is nice. All this. Look, this Edomite kid looks happy, right? This is good, man. And we were like unto gold, right? But then it said right here, Jeremiah is cold for saying this. He said, then we turn into like earthen pitchers. I had to look this up while I was reading this, family. I'm gonna show you what we turned into. Oh, Slovakia. How you spell that again? Pitchers. Let me get back to it. Slovakia, family. Pitcher. There we go. Slovakia. This is what we turned into, family. Slovakia. This is what we turned into. We were gold, but then we turned. Oh, this is kind of nice. But then we just turned into this, right? Would you say this is comparable to gold, Ken?
no, not at all.
This is not gold, right? Look at this. This one don't even look. This one looks like it's rusting, man. Right?
Con,
Jeremiah is saying we turned it to this. We turned to this thing right here. Like, what the hell was this, man? We turned to this thing. I'm just trying to give y'all a visual presentation, right? On what was going on, right? But yeah, I just needed to show y'all that because it's crazy that we were set so high and then we went so down low. I also want to kind of harp on to another point because it said right here where does it say the dunghills, right? I want to get that. And if you can mute your mic, Bobby Kashad, it's like it can. Um, it said it said right here, they that did feed delicately are desolate in the streets. They that were brought up in scarlet embrace dunghills. right? We were brought up in scarlet, and scarlet is like a good it's like a good material, right? I believe it's also a color too. So it was something of good stature, right? But then we became as dunghills. Dunghills is just a pile of poop. We literally became a pile of poop, fi- um, figuratively, right? So that's crazy, family. We were compared as gold, but then we were compared to dunghills as well, which is crazy to me, right? But let's keep reading the book of Lamentations. Salakia, Salakia. Matter of fact, like how I read verse 10 is crazy. They that were meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people, right? Um, oh no, right here. The hands of the pitiful woman have sodden down their own children. That's a curse too, family. If you could, Amatazaki, you get Deuteronomy 28 and verse 53, because this is what we're going to talk about here. This is also another curse that happened, right, to the people of Judah at this time. Let's go there, matter of fact. When you got it out, you can bring it out. But yeah, that last verse is crazy, family, because we're gonna show you, Ken. We're gonna show y'all. We're gonna show y'all. When you got it, Ken, you can bring it out.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 53. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which Yahweh thy God hath given thee, in the siege and in the straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee.
That's what happened. That's literally what happened in the land of Judah, like how we just read, right? So yeah, I wanted to bring that point because there were many curses going on during this time of the Babylonian siege, right? Um, but yeah, let's keep reading. Let's start at verse 11 and stop at verse 14, Baba Kashai.
Yahweh hath accomplished his fury. He hath poured out his fierce anger, and hath kindled a fire in Zion, and it hath devoured the foundations thereof. The kings of the earth and all the inhabitants of the world would not have believed that the adversary and the enemy should have entered into the gates of Jerusalem. For the sins of her prophets and the iniquities of her priests, that have shed the blood of the just in the midst of her. They have wandered as blind men in the streets. They have polluted themselves with blood, so that the men could not touch their garments.
Right here. So our sins are the reason why Judah became like these blind prophets and priests, right? We became blind as a people, family. And we're gonna go to a different scripture that most Israelites know. If you've been studying the scriptures or if you've been studying um the law, statutes, and commandments. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 3, right? Because that literally describes what was going on, right? That describes us. We didn't essentially we just didn't consider. So when you got the precept part, bring it out, Ken, when you got it.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 1 and verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider.
We didn't consider, family, like I was just saying. And that's why we went astray. So I want to just correlate those two together, right? Because these were kind of like in the same time period as well. Isaiah and Jeremiah both experienced the Babylonian captivity. So yeah, let's keep reading though. Let's start at verse 15 and read down to verse 22. Baba Kashah.
Say that again.
15, King. Verse 15. And finish the chapter. Baba Kashah.
Okay. Verse 15. They cried unto them, depart ye, it is unclean. Depart, depart. Touch not when they fled away and wandered. They said among the heathen, they shall no more sojourn there. The anger of Yahweh hath divided them. He will no more regard them. They respected not the persons of the priest. They favored not the elders. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help, and our watching we have watched for a nation that could not save us. They hunt our steps, and we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near, our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. Our
Mm.
persecutors are swifter than the eagles of the heaven. They pursued us upon the mountains. They lay wait for us in the wilderness. The breath of our nostrils, the anointed of Yahweh, was taken in their pits, of whom we said, under his shadow we shall live among the heathen. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken, and shalt make thyself naked. The
Right.
punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins.
Man, like this is crazy, right? Because in the beginning, like as at the start of verse 15, it really sounded like, the Most High wasn't messing with Israel. But then he's just started talking about Esau. And it's crazy too, because I mean, they probably did have a part in this captivity, but this is the Babylonian captivity. And the Most High is talking about Esau. That's how you know that the Most High don't mess with Esau, man. And that he's not gonna forgive him, man. But this is good, right? Because it said our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of the heavens, right? And they pursued us upon the mountains, they lay wait for us in the wilderness, right? That sounds like the so-called white man to me, right? But let's go to the book of Obadiah, right? Because we're gonna see what's gonna happen to them, right? We're gonna see what's gonna happen to them. Let's go to the book of Obadiah and start from the top and stop at verse 4, Baba Kashar.
This is the book of Obadiah from the top. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us arise against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou hast dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahweh.
Right. So this is like how we read in the book of Lamentations. This is describing the nation of Esau, right? And they're going to get their punishment. That's pretty much what I was trying to bring out. Not only was Jeremiah saying it, but other prophets in the Bible were saying that the destruction of Esau will come to place. And it's crazy because, like I said, this wasn't this is not our captivity now, because right now we're under the Edomites, right? But this is the time of Babylon, right? Edom wasn't really like a strong nation at that time, but the Most High was still talking about them, man. So that's just crazy. That's crazy to me how that's going on, right? That the Most High was like, yeah, even though the Babylonians are messing you up, I'm still gonna mess up Esau, man. That's how you know the Most High hates Esau. But yeah, I wanted to bring that point. We finished that though. We finished Lamentations 4. Let's go to the last chapter, family. I know this is kind of long, but you know, this is really important just to read along with the family and get the understanding of what happened in our past, right? But let's get that. Start from the top and then end at verse 8, Baba Kashah.
Lamentations chapter 5 from the top. Remember, O Yahweh, what has come upon us. Consider and behold our reproach. Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens. We are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are widows. We have drunken our water for money. Our wood is sold unto us. Our necks are under persecution. We labor and have no rest. We have given the hand to the Egyptians and to the Assyrians to be satisfied with bread. Our fathers have sinned and are not, and we have borne their iniquities. Servants have ruled over us. There is none that doth deliver us out of their hand. We
Right.
get our go ahead.
Yeah, so right there, that's servants have ruled over us. There is none that doeth deliver us out of their hand, right? This is important, right? Because this is still happening today, right? We give all our belongings to Esau, right? Just for some bread, right? And I'm not talking about like we getting bread, like we making money. You know what I'm saying? we having stacks of racks, we're getting breadcrumbs, right? We're getting breadcrumbs. Just be honest, and that's what's happening right now in the Book of Lamentations. So it's just crazy to be like, damn man, like we were so high, but now we're giving our all just for some bread, just for some crumbs, right? And it's crazy, man. But that's what happened, right? That's what happened. Let's keep going though. Let's start at verse 9 and then just pretty much finish the chapter, right?
God, we get our bread with the peril of our lives because of the sword of the wilderness. Our black skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine. They ravished the woman in Zion and the maids in the cities of Judah. Princes are hanged up by their hand. The faces of elders were not honored. They took the young men to grind, and children fell under the wood. The elders have not ceased from the gate, the young men from their music. The joy of our heart is ceased. Our dance is turned into mourning. The
Mhm.
crown is falling from our head. Woe unto us that we have sinned. For this our heart is faint. For these things our eyes are dim. Because of the mountain of Zion, which is desolate, the foxes walk upon it. Thou, O Yahweh, remainest forever, thy throne from generation to generation. Wherefore dost thou forget us forever, and forsake us so long time? Turn thou us unto thee, O Yahweh, and we shall be turned. Renew our days as of old. But thou hast utterly rejected us. Thou art very wroth against us.
Right. So essentially, even though Jeremiah is still kind of saying like, yeah, the Most High kind of forgot about us. He still wanted us to go back to the old days, right? That's what he said right here, in verse 21. Turn thou, turn thou us unto thee, O Lord, and we shall be turned. Renew our days as of old. Man, Jeremiah's just asking for the good old days, man. The good old days of cupcakes and playgrounds, right? So that's pretty much it, family. That's the Book of Lamentations. Before I bring out this precept, did you want to say anything, Ken, regarding this whole book?
I'm gonna just say this, right? If you look at this book, right, and you read everything that happened to Jerusalem, everything that happened to the people, our people, you know what I'm saying? Essentially, it's the same thing that's happening to us. And if you look at it, we were the cause of it. You see what I mean? So sometimes you gotta look ourselves in the mirror and be like, damn, like we took a big part in our own destruction. You know what I mean? So the predicament we're in is because a lot because of ourselves, mostly because of ourselves. See what I mean? So if we get right, the Most High will make sure that we get better. You see what I'm saying? So look yourselves in the mirror, read this story, and understand all the things we went through, all the things that our forefathers have went through. Because it even says in here that we've borne our forefathers' iniquities. And then what do? We don't do no better. We keep getting worse. We keep continuing. At some point, the cycle has to be broken. Why not start with us? You
God,
know what I mean? So our city was destroyed, our home was taken away from us, and we're far away from home. You see what I'm saying? And it's even more symbolic of how far we are away from our heritage. You see what I mean? So we got to come back to that. I want to go home. I know you guys want to go home. You know what I'm saying? We want to get the hell out of here, but it's a lot of self-examination. It's a lot of looking in the mirror, a lot of taking accountability, and we just got to get better. That's the goal. So my prayers out to all 12 tribes scattered abroad. And hopefully we can stay in the race, keep going strong. Keep faith in Yahweh Shai, keep keeping the commandments, and so we getting out of here soon. You know what I'm saying? Every day we get closer. So we have to remember that every day we get closer to the time where we ultimately get out of here. So let's get out of here. Let's do what we got to do to stay clean, to make sure that we're not in strange apparel, that we're girded up, that we have the armor of God. So when those troublous times comes, because we're already in bad times, but it's only going to get worse because it always gets worse before it gets better. So, stay strong, family,
God, for sure. Beautiful, beautiful act. You know what I'm saying? We gotta take accountability, family, like how the brother said. Um, and just um, yeah, we gotta really take our accountability, man, because we none of us want to be here, man. None of us want to be as unto dunghills, man. Like how Jeremiah was saying, or how Jeremiah was saying. We don't want to be like dunghills. That's disgusting, right? So I wanted to bring this last point. Let's go to Jeremiah 6:16, Bible Shah, because he brought that point how he wants things to be turned back again, right? So let's get that real quick, Baba Kasha.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 6 and verse 16. Thus saith Yahweh, stand ye in the ways, and see, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein.
Right. So we're really just focusing on the beginning part, right? Um, we gotta seek and ask for the old paths, right? Because the old paths is pretty much referring to the law and when we were keeping the law, statutes, and commandments and really fearing the most high God. We gotta get back to that, family. And I know, we were reading the book of Lamentations that happened 3,000 2,500 years ago, right? But at the end of the day, you know, things just have things repeat itself all the time. So it still applies today, family. We got to get right, just like how Jeremiah was trying to get right, in the whole nation, matter of fact. So that, I just want to give all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, and also to like and subscribe, share the video, family. We're trying to grow. So appreciate all my brothers, and all the sisters that support the channel. So yeah, I just want to salute you y'all. But other than that, we're gonna end it off. I want to say thank you. Shalom, family.
Shalom, family.